Welcome to AVAIYA, Dr. Stills.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. How did you become an expert in the topic of menopause?
It kind of found me. There's a belief that what's meant for you will find you. And so I actually, and I've been out practicing over 20 years already, but many years ago I decided to become a naturopathic medical doctor. It was because I was going to be a pediatrician. And so I did my whole training really focused on pediatrics and psychiatrics. And when I got into my clinic, when I opened my practice back in 2002, Suzanne Summers had just written one of her, I think it was her first book called The Sexy Years, and it was all about bioidentical hormone replacement. And one of my patients came in with it and was like, I want this. Can you do this for me? And I had not really done anything with hormones. And at the time, I was like struggling with my own major hormone imbalances. I had like horrific PMS. But I said, sure, let me borrow the book for a week. Let me see what this is. And I'll let you know if I think it's something that I can provide for you. And I read it and I thought, oh, wow, I can do this and I can do it so much better because I'm a naturopathic doctor and I have all this other training and understanding of how the lymphatic system is going to play a role and the liver is going to play a role and the gut's going to play a role and so on and so forth. And so I treated her, I provided her with her bioidentical hormones, and kind of like that shampoo commercial, she told two friends who told two friends who told two friends. And all of a sudden, I had this huge bioidentical menopausal practice going and was just helping all these women. And then I thought, wow, I really believe in the practice what you preach philosophy. And I thought, yeah, I'm helping all these women and I'm watching them age in reverse before my eyes, and they're just feeling so good and they're losing weight and they're sharing their passions and they're blossoming in front of me, and I'm sitting there bloated like I'm 9 months pregnant. And I thought I better do something. I was in my early 30s at the time, but I thought I better do something about my own hormones so I can be in good conscience of preaching hormone health. And so I did. I applied what I was applying to the women who were transitioning through menopause, but I applied it to me as just a woman who was still cycling and fertile and so forth. And I balanced my own hormones so much so that when I went through my own menopausal transition when I was 48, many years later, I never even had a hot flash or anything. And so I call this the sacred second act of our lives because I really believe that this is such a fertile time for creativity, for our passion, for coming home to ourselves as females, that this is not what we've been taught in society, that menopause is the beginning of the end and you're just going to be fat and put out to pasture and not matter anymore. And so I'm really passionate and mission driven about encouraging women, empowering women, that they do not have to suffer during this time of life.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I love that. And I have many side questions related to your story, but I think we'll get to those kind of in the next other few questions. So, what are some big misconceptions surrounding menopause? You kind of touched on it right there at the end. What are your thoughts?
Well, from a medical perspective, that hormones are bad, that hormones are dangerous, that you want to go through menopause naturally and avoid hormones. And synthetic hormones are bad. And yes, you should run as fast as possible away from the Premarins and the Provera and all of these synthetic pharmaceutical, but bioidentical hormones are comparing apples and oranges. And bioidentical hormones, when in the hands of an experienced hormone expert like myself, are powerful and are healing and are preventative, not just for getting rid of symptoms, getting rid of hot flashes or mood swings or vaginal dryness or weight gain or any of those symptoms we associate with menopause. But bioidentical hormones are a crucial part of aging gracefully. They're protective against cardiovascular disease, against breast cancer. They don't cause breast cancer. They're protective for osteoporosis, protective against diabetes. They're protective against Alzheimer's. They're protective against all these chronic illnesses, these inflammatory illnesses. They help support your immune system. And yes, they help your skin to look good and your hair to look good and your weight to normalize and all those things. But there's so much beneficial nature of what they do for you as aging. I mean, there's even been studies showing that on proper bioidentical hormone replacement, you will live longer, you will live healthier.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so given that, I know there's definitely a lot of misinformation out in the world around hormone replacement therapy, and you're obviously talking about bioidentical hormones. So what are those compared to the synthetic, and what sets them apart?
So bioidentical are just what they say. They're biologically identical. So they're identical to the hormones that your body's been producing, that your ovaries have been producing once you hit puberty and up until where you stop menstruating, which is menopause. And so your body recognizes them. They don't have the side effects of synthetic hormones, which actually cause a lot of the things that we're trying to treat or prevent in this time of life. And so they are compounded by a compounding pharmacy. They are as natural as can be. So there is there is different sources and different forms, but for instance, the ones that I compound don't have fillers. I use acidophilus as a filler. They don't have perfumes and fragrances, and they're very clean, and they're typically synthesized from yams, which is yams.
Yeah, yams.
So that's the difference. Synthetic hormones are like any pharmaceutical. They come with I was actually, I don't watch TV a lot, but I was watching a show and they had a commercial the other day and it was for a pharmaceutical. And it just always like blows my mind that they're like, the butterflies are flying and the puppies, and they're like, oh my God, take this drug. But then they're like, this could cause death. This could cause hepatitis. This can cause, but don't worry about that. Take this drug and here's more puppies. And so it's the same with hormones. Synthetic hormones are scary.
AVAIYA has changed my life.
AVAIYA has made me the woman I am today.
AVAIYA is my home.
AVAIYA is personal freedom.
AVAIYA is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about AVAIYA.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, AVAIYA, for appearing in my inbox.
What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at AVAIYA is what the world needs.